It is December, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of NFT 365. And, it's funny, I feel like almost every episode I'm like, well, this is my most popular question, or these are what people are asking me right now. But this episode is actually one I've been putting off doing for a good while. And part of the reason was that I feel it's so easy to shill or promote projects kind of willy-nilly or throwing things around. And I feel like a lot of the podcast, a lot of the videos that I'm seeing right now, a lot of them are just, they're making, they're suggesting projects that A, they're either a part of, or B, they're getting paid to promote. And so I wanted to be very diligent when I would talk about the projects that either I would recommend to check out or ones that we are working with here. And so on this episode, I'll walk you through kind of like this idea that like, what would I do right now if I had, a much bigger bag to purchase, NFTs right now? And then also, what are the, projects that I look at that are undervalued, but that are established? Like, that's the question I've been getting for a lot of friends. Brian, it's cool you're doing the Mint 365 project. It's cool you're doing some cool things. But I want to know which projects you believe are established that I should get into right now. And so that's what this episode is going to be about. And so we're going to jump right into it. I will tell you there's a certain amount of the projects that I own, right? I minted myself. Part of that because if I minted it, I of course am paying a lot of attention to the actual project, so I understand the community and can without question share my own advice. This of course is not financial advice. I will also say I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple projects that I don't own, but that I've been following closely, and I know some people in my inner circle do own. And at the very end, I'm going to give you kind of I hate the term ninja hack, but I'm going to give you a little tip or a cool way that I've found to discover established projects in a way that really isn't hacking or anything, but it's a place that I don't think a lot of people are looking. And so we're going to jump into that right now. And I will say, just an update for those that are tracking the Mint 365 project. We've been really creating some cool Airtables and lists and some dashboards for us to be able to promote and share with you all of the projects that we currently are investing in, how much we invested, why we invested them, what's the track record, what are the things that we can expect. So if you're over there in the Discord, remember it's discord.gg/ADHDcoin. Jump over there to Discord. We're going to drop a lot of really cool data, some insights, even maybe some software things that around the projects that we are jumping into. And the last thing is, I'm going to talk about projects that right now that are established projects, but there are 3 projects just recently that we minted as part of our Mint 365 project that I just wanted to highlight real quick. And one of them is called the Coalition Crew. The Coalition Crew is by Peter Vogue and an entire group of, it's the Cheetahs. It's a really cool project that they released 1,000 this week, and they're going to release another 6,000 in January. We did jump in and mint one of those for NFT 365. What's neat about it is you get access to an exclusive private community. They're also doing some charity elements, including the opportunity to adopt a cheetah that are going extinct. So I think that was such a cool project. Another one that we just recently minted was the Last Raptor project, and don't worry, I'm gonna have a whole list of all of these links in the show notes as well. The Last Raptor project, I might have mentioned it on the show previously, but the thing I really love about this project is that the idea that they're using it to fund and build some software around this universal dashboard of NFTs. So I think that's a really cool project. And then last but not least, shout out to our friend Evan Mendoza. He is a Major League Baseball player with the St. Louis Cardinals. He recently launched his project, which is actually his art, which he calls the Diamond Dogs. And what's cool about that is you can, by minting one of his NFTs, you could get free tickets to a baseball game. You could get an autographed baseball bat and a lot of cool merchandise. He also is doing some really cool things with some projects. So we're going to talk about established projects on this episode, but those are 3 that I just wanted to throw out there. So now the question becomes, well, Brian, if let's say you were given 10 ETH right now, what is the project you would buy? And I will say without hesitation, it's VeeFriends, Gary Vaynerchuk's project. And part of that is because I'm a believer in long-term and focusing long-term with NFTs. And I believe there's nobody better to bet on in this space long-term than what Gary Vaynerchuk's doing. The other part of it is I'm really bitter because the day that these came out back in March was actually the first day I moved ETH into my wallet, and I was ready to pull the trigger. And I made this really weird decision that said, do I want to buy 5 NFTs to take a chance on or buy one of Gary Vaynerchuk's NFTs? And I unfortunately picked the 5 NFTs to take a chance on, and well, none of those 5 are on my list today. And VeeFriends would be the one that I would definitely, without question, check out. You guys can kind of see. I'll kind of share, some of the things that around these NFTs that just to keep in mind. And I'll say the floor price. The floor price is one that we always kind of keep an eye on. And right now, the VeeFriends floor price is 8.5 ETH. As of the recording of this show, and so that's actually lower than I think I've seen it in the recent time. But the thing about VeeFriends, and it's also going to be the thing about the next couple projects that we talk about here, each project can have a different, what you want to look at. And on VeeFriends, each one of the different, photo or the pictures that Gary drew have different utility. So some get you access to one-on-one with Gary. Some give you access to the VCon conference. Some get you a phone call with Gary once a year for the next 3 years. And so you really want to do your research before kind of jumping into one of those projects. So that's kind of my answer to that. I'll give an answer at the end about another project that, if I hit big on one of the projects we're working on, it'll probably be one that I'll jump into. Now, the next one I wanted to highlight is one that has probably been the one most people have connected me with more than anything else, which is called CryptoDads. They also have the Crypto Moms. But the CryptoDads, the floor on CryptoDads is lower than I've seen it yet. But I really believe in this community. I believe in the founders, what the projects, they have some really cool collaborations in the works. I actually minted my CryptoDad back on September. So September 10th is when I actually minted my CryptoDad that I have now. And I will tell you, I'm just shocked at the prices as low as it is right now. It's in that 0.25, 0.3 ETH perspective. But I will say the other thing about CryptoDads to keep in mind is, some of these projects, you're just going to want to find the lowest on the floor and you can buy it, right? Which the floor is the lowest available sales price at the moment. Other projects, you're going to want to look at what is the lowest price range with a low rarity. But I think on CryptoDads, and this is my own personal opinion, I actually, I own a girl dad or a Kobe jersey CryptoDad. And so I would actually say, if you want to jump into this project, I believe you should look at the rarity element that kind of jumps out at you the most. And for me, it's these awesome jerseys that are set up on the CryptoDads. So I would recommend getting in on one of those. I think it adds another layer of exclusivity, and there's kind of there's a club of us that are all representing this NFT. And I will tell you, for a while there was not one available under 1 ETH. And the fact that you can snag one right now for 0.32 ETH to me is just massively undervalued at the moment. And I'm a big believer in what they're doing long term. I mean, so much so I bought their merch. I'm very active in their Discord as well. So definitely check out CryptoDads. But like I said, CryptoDads is one of the ones where I recommend finding that dad or Crypto Mom. It's another offshoot that really speaks to you. Now, the next project should come as no surprise. The Playboy Rabbitars. If you guys listened to an episode, I believe it was 2 episodes ago, I went into depth on why I believe this is the best brand activation at the moment. Huge fan of this project, the team, the leadership. But I will say this is another one of those projects where I don't think you should just go in and buy the lowest price Rabbitars. I actually think you should go in there and find one that you really love, that kind of speaks to you, right? This is my current profile photo across all of my social media. And what I did was I went and looked at all of them that were for sale, and I went and hit favorite on a couple that were my favorite that I just thought really spoke to me. And then I was just waiting for one of those to come for sale. One of them came for sale, and I was able to snatch it up. And the floor right now is 0.16 on those Rabbitars, which is, again, I think it's just crazy low in the sense of where I believe they're going and where they've been recently. I think a lot of this right now for December, some people are ditching NFTs for tax reasons. Some people are, kind of falling into some of the hype around crypto. And so I think there's just some great steals out there. Definitely try to get a Rabbitars that like kind of speaks to you the most, more so than like the rarity or, just like the cheapest or most expensive. All right, next one I'm going to jump into is another one that I own. And the cool thing about this one is it's the Superlative Secret Society. And right now their floor is about the same as the Rabbitars, 0.16. But it is definitely shot up. This is one of the projects that when I first jumped in on it, I minted one of these. And I have one of the least rare, right? Like, so 11,100 of these exist, right? 11,100 exist. And I believe mine is, I can try to pull it up here in a second. Mine, I believe, it's kind of funny. I think mine is like 11,061 least rare. So like, it's like the most common. But I will say, to me, it's simple and unique in the fact that like there's reason that this art speaks to me. And I will tell you, I'm getting one of these printed for my wall in my house to hang on the wall. I just love the art, the community around it. Recently, they've kind of got some momentum. The price shot up really high for a while there. I believe it was all the way up to 0.4. But I just love the art. Also, they've done a great job of merchandise where people are now putting the merch of this the Superlative Secret Society out there. So just a project to kind of keep in mind, something that I'm a big fan of. And I'm gonna do 3 more that are ones that I own, and then a couple that I don't own that you guys might want to keep an eye on. And I will say those that are listening to the podcast, the thing to think about is what are the things that I'm explaining about these projects that I like. You don't have to take my advice on my projects, but think about it from a strategy perspective, or, hey, okay, Brian likes this project because of this. Now I have to think about that in my own right. The next one I wanted to mention was Chibi Galaxy, which is from the Chibi Labs team. We actually have, this was the first project we minted with Mint 365. I actually own a Chibi Ape, actually multiple Chibi Apes. I just love this team. I believe they haven't sold out their projects during launch, but they just recently launched an AR app where I can take my phone and I can actually put the NFT that I own in virtual reality, augmented reality, like kind of overlaid into the virtual world. They're doing some really innovative things, not only in the metaverse, but kind of adding utility to their projects. I also think the 3D art is, I believe, some of the best that is out there. And the fact that the floor is all the way down to 0.05, I believe Chibi Galaxy right now is a great project to check out. I'm a big believer also in the long term of that team. They do weekly town halls on Twitter Spaces. They just done a really great job of being really hands-on with the community. So definitely check out any of the 3 projects around Chibi and the Chibi team. Next one I wanted to mention was Bubblegum Kids. So Bubblegum Kids is one of those projects too that I minted originally, and then I kind of flipped it, and then I just love the art. So I went and found one that I really like, which is why I love this project. And they've also kind of got some momentum recently. Their floor price shot up. I know a lot of people started jumping in and finding like some of the rare ones that were really low priced. But this is one that I have. I currently own one right now myself. I love it because he has a pink hat and a yellow gold bubblegum. I also think their Discord and their community is very fun. They're also rolling out a next version. So if you own a Bubblegum Kids, you're actually going to be able to get one of the dogs that come out as well, which is a really cool project. And the community is really thriving. I think they're just now hitting their stride. And I'm not sure exactly when they minted. I could pull it up when I got mine. But I've been kind of following them along since the start, since they originally started and launched. And I just love the art. I love the artist and the community there as well. All right, for some of you might have been like, wait a second, where are the women-led project or the ladies? And so the next 3 actually are ones that you guys are going to want to listen for. This one is one I own. I love the story of this project. This is the FameLady Squad. The FameLadies project was actually one that got taken over by their community. So there was some drama. There was some I wouldn't say scam artists, but there were some people behind the project that weren't doing things above board, and they kind of were about to rug pull it. But members of the community came together to kind of take over the contract and take over the project. I just love that community. They're very active on Twitter. They have a very vibrant Discord server as well. And I also know they're rolling out a lot of like kind of sister or brother projects that are aligned with it. And the fact that the floor price is 0.08 right now, I think is just a great time to jump in. All right, so I kind of walked you through a couple of those and the ones that I jumped into. There's another project that if I could right now, if I had the ETH to kind of pull it off and kind of to jump in on it, I would definitely jump in today. And it's called The World of Women. It's probably one of the most popular women-led NFT projects. I really like the art. I really like how driven they are to help other women-led projects. They are also very focused on minority projects as well. Great thriving community. They have some big name celebrities like Reese Witherspoon and others that are currently collectors. I know I believe Gary Vaynerchuk's a collector of World of Women as well. Their floor is 1.87 right now, but I just think they're a great project and definitely one I'm hoping maybe before the end of the year, before the end of December, I'm going to be able to jump in on and snag one of those. All right. The last one before I give you guys kind of my tip that to track other established projects is one that's probably the one that's been top of mind for me the most. And I'm just going to say this. This is a shout out to the Lazy Lion community. They're a massive community on Twitter. Their founders, Ozark and the team, they've done an amazing job of creating community, of amplifying each other. They seem to just be a really great team. I also love the art. I will say, I think I've been at least 4 times where I've hit the buy now button and I've even hit the complete button. And then I've decided not to pull the trigger at the last minute. And part of it is because I love the art so much that there's 2 of them that I have my eye on. Excuse me. And right now they're not for sale. Neither one of the 2 that I have my eye on are for sale. So I'm kind of like waiting this one out. The fact the floor is now below 1, I almost bought in on this project at 1.8 on the floor. It was 1.8 when I was about to buy in on it. I believe this one is around for the long term. I believe this is a brand that is going to be well established. I love a lot of they have a lot of metaverse type projects in there as well. And probably for when many of you are listening to this episode, more than likely I will own a Lazy Lion. I'm just being very picky on the art that I want. There's it's a rainbow mane with a hat on it. It just speaks to me. So it's just one that I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on. But yeah, definitely check out Lazy Lion's great community out there. Now I kind of gave you a tip here in the last Lazy Lion one, and this is my secret for you guys that are out there, right? So for those that know, like when you have an Opensea account, which is the marketplace for your NFTs, you can share that link out there. It can be very public, but other people can go onto your Opensea accounts. Like my Opensea account is at iSocialFans, right? So if you go opensea.io/iSocialFans with a Z, you can see all of the NFTs that are in that public wallet. I do have a couple wallets for some NFTs that I have that are not public, only because they're ones that I'm going to hold really long term, and I want to have them off of this single point of failure. Listen to the last security episode for that. But here's the tip. If you find somebody that you like their strategy, their style, or there's someone that you look up to, or there's someone in this space that you want to follow, one of the things that I would recommend you doing is go to their profile, but then look at their favorites. So across the tab there, you can actually see the favorites. And so I mentioned to you guys that are listening just now that I went in and favored a couple Lazy Lions that I really loved. And that's how I track some of the projects that I want to keep an eye on. I also have some friends that have some NFTs that I want to track, like what's the floor price, what are the things that, what are the offers that they're getting on it. But that's my tip for you guys, that because everything lives on the blockchain and our ability to kind of go out there on public is pretty neat and unique here in NFTs. Most people are willing to share, at least most that I've met are willing to share their OpenSea account. They'll just say, hey, go check me out, or here's a link to my OpenSea account. And you can go in there and you can check what things they've favored. You can even check some other, the other pieces that are available for you publicly. But I'm doing that because just like in crypto, right? Like in crypto, I found a couple investors that have been very successful, their way of doing it, and their strategy kind of aligns with me. So of course I have their wallet address and I want to see what are they buying, what are they selling, and I'm going to follow their lead. In NFTs, you can do something very similar, not only by seeing the wallet and what someone is purchasing, and you could even go in and look at my wallet ID if you wanted to, and you could track it that way. But I love going in. There's probably, I think there's 8 people right now that I have their OpenSea account bookmarked in my browser. And I just click on them and I go see what have they favorited recently? What are the projects they've added to their wallet recently? And it's just a good way of getting a kind of a sense of what others are doing. And so hopefully you guys found some value there on some established projects that I believe are worth it right now in December. I'm going to do this type of episode every month. So we'll have one every month up until November of next year where I kind of give you like, hey, here are some of the projects that I would really look at that are established. Of course, if you want to jump in on a lower priced angle and more of like the higher risk but also higher reward, make sure you're checking out our Mint 365 project where we are buying a brand new NFT, an NFT that is launching every day for 365 days. Today, I believe, is we're doing number 26 or number 26. Our 26th NFT looks like it's gonna be a good one. We're tracking Shorty, which is a casino utility based NFT. It drops at 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight. So I'll be tracking that way into the hours this evening. And if we get it, you guys will see it. I'll post it out on Twitter, of course, in our Discord and everywhere else there as well. As always, this podcast is super powered by the ADHD coin. It is the coin that I founded over at Rally. I will say we are very close. Maybe while this recording is happening, we might have just hit an all-time high. We have over 900 900 holders of the ADHD coin. I know many of you that had never heard of me before discovered the podcast and you've jumped in and got yourself some ADHD coin. I just want to say thank you for doing that. But we are very close to our all-time high in rally to coin ratio, which is a great thing because as the crypto market comes back from the last couple days of dropping, we're going to see our coin be really rewarded. So it's a great time to jump in. Check out ADHDcoin.com. But until next time, my friends, make it a good one. Cheers.